And he is a mean coach. He says things right to the players' faces, yells and screams, but he got his team here. They're undefeated.
A buzz of anticipation here in the Cops Coliseum as this game gets underway. Haydarov goes back behind his own net, and the Canadian strategy, I think, is to use the body in this first period. Loose puck in the center ice area. Haydarov circles back into his own zone, gets it ahead to Semak. Semak tries to go rink wide. It's picked up by Nikonov. He tried to go in. He was knocked off the puck by Sandlack, who came back very strongly. A pass into the center ice area as Viveros had a little trouble going anywhere with it. Corson tried to help out. Knocked it ahead to Nieuwendyk. Sandlack, his shot goes off a leg to the corner. The Canadian team using that body in the offensive zone.
Okay, you saw that first shot by Canada blocked by the Russian defenseman. They say that those defensemen will, by the time the end of the game comes around, block more shots than the goalkeeper.
And you saw there Conroy run into the Soviet player. We played 48 seconds of this opening period. Both teams undefeated. 5 consecutive victories. Each side has 1 game remaining. But unless this game winds up in a tie, that final outing will have no bearing on the gold medal. Conroy moves into the face-off circle, comes back to the line to Keevan with a shot right on. Roberts picks it up off the boards and clears it to center ice. The Soviets do the attack again, led by Kamensky. Kamensky takes the shot. Billington makes the save, fed out front by Kamensky as he picked up the loose puck. That was picked off by Canada. A good body check there in the center ice area as Kravchuk stepped into the Canadian player Conroy. Now the Soviets drop back into their own zone. Gorgayev couldn't handle the pass in the center ice area. S.Kote brings it in for the Canadian team. He's bodied in against the boards by Kovalev, and it's dumped out into the center ice area.
John, a lot of talk about the Canadians having to take the body. The Russians thrive on that too. They say they built this team around a North American style game, mainly because the ice surface is smaller here in Canada. They like to bump and grind themselves.
Kote was unable to hold it in at the point. He has to wait for his teammates to get onside. Salyanin bumped Murphy at the blue line, and this Soviet team will not be intimidated. I think in that victory over the United States on Sunday, the Americans may have been a little bruised and battered by the time the third period rolled around.
They certainly were, but Canada averaged 10 pounds more than each American. These two teams here are very evenly sized.
What an open ice hit by Peter Duras as he stepped into Taranov. He really felt it in the center. Some excellent hits by both sides in the first 2 minutes and 12 seconds of this opening period. The gold medal battle before a full house here at Cops Coliseum in Hamilton. They have established an attendance record for the World Junior Championship in this 1985-86 tournament in the Steel Town.
A lot of talk on questioning the referee and linesman for this hockey game. The referee is from Sweden, the 2 linesmen. This last play was offside by 6 or 7 feet, and the linesman didn't call it, so both teams are going to have to keep their wits about them, Don, for bad calls.
Viveros clears it out for Canada. Fedotov goes back for the Soviet Union. He hammers it off the boards, and this will be an icing call against the Soviets as Viveros touches it with 17:09 remaining in the period.
Well, we talked about open ice body checks, how important it is to keep the sticks down, the elbows down. Peter Duras caught Tatarina right here at center ice. The key player for the Soviet Union got thumped after he passed the puck. And a good clean body check by Peter Duras, property of the Winnipeg Jets. Tatarina, they say, is tough. He's fearless. We'll see if he's able to recover. That was a thumping body check.
From the opening couple of minutes of this game, John, it would appear that they are attempting to lay the body on Haydarov, much as they did last year in Helsinki. And a couple of good hits in that game by Sandlack and Wendell Clark put the big Soviet defenseman out of the game. Now the Soviets move it out into the center ice area. Back to cover up for Canada is Moylan. He clears it into the center ice area, and it's dumped down the ice by Corson. Corson trying to work to the corner, and he's bodied in against the boards by Kravchuk. Kravchuk tried to get it out, but Canada kept it in at the point. Kote managed to keep it in. There's a whistle on the play. And there's a penalty coming up. I believe Kote is going to be going on.
I think it's a roughing call is what happened, Don. It's either Kote or maybe Sandlack. Kote, you're right. Alain Kote, 2 minutes for roughing.
So the Soviets
gets the roughing penalty right near the boards as he gets body checked, and he's going to react with a punch to the face. And that's what the team management wanted his team to stay away from, are those retaliation penalties. Watch the Russians on their power play. They have 8 power play goals to this point in the tournament. They use their points, Don, a lot more than they used to last season. So that Team Canada's back in that regimented box type of play in their own zone.
The Soviets, very skillful with the man advantage as they move it around very well. Back to the line now to Kravchuk. Kravchuk plays it into Semak. Back to Kravchuk. Over to the other side. A blast by Nikonov just sails wide. The Soviets controlling in the Canadian zone. Back to the line to Nikonov. Nikonov tried to set up. He fired it wide again. It's loose in front of the net. Cleared to the boards. And it's into the center ice area. Canada, Korson and Conroy trying to break out. Conroy bumps Kravchuk into the boards in the Soviet zone. Now Shane Korson along the boards holds it for a face-off.
Report was right to the tee. 2 or 3 shots from the point, nothing in tight. The Canadians to this point have killed it off quite well.
And the Soviets don't really have one special power play unit. They throw out 5 different skaters. As a matter of fact, during the course of the game, they most often change all 5.
John, you very seldom see specialty units anywhere in Europe. The Swedish people, for instance, they just use the next unit, whether it be killing penalties or power play.
Now it's run in. A shot goes off the glove of Billington. Picked up by Scott Mellenby and cleared down the ice. Leaves it behind the net. Torgeyev goes back to Selyanin. Fed up on the right side in the center ice area to Osipov. Osipov, who was with the Soviet under-17 team last year, the only member from that under-17 squad that toured Canada with this junior team, trying to dig it out. He gets it back to the point to Selyanin. Torgeyev at the side of the net. Kamensky let a shot go that hit the side of the net. Over on the wing to Stapleton. Stapleton tried to return the pass. It did not get through. Kornankov for the Soviet Union, bringing it back with 12 seconds remaining in the penalty to Kote. He dumps it in and picked up there by Fiberos. He finds an opening and manages to clear it down the ice and has to kill the penalty.
Excellent penalty killing by Team Canada. Nothing to the inside, John. They kept the Russians outside all the time.
The Soviets now coming in across the Canadian line. Kovalov tried to get it in front. It bounces back of the net, and the official ruled that it was blocked ahead. Canada's quest for gold flags and their faces decorated as well. And they are a very loud and supportive group of over 17,000 watching this gold medal battle between the Soviets and Canada. Fedotov, a long blast that Billington takes up on his blocker. It's cleared up along the boards, and Jeff Greenlaw, the 17-year-old with the Canadian Olympic team, dumps it out.
He dumped it out and got nailed by Tatarinov. Tatarinov plays in a league where the people are 10 years older than he is, and he puts fear into their hearts. He's a tough kid.
Kovalov goes to the corner, loses the puck there. Murphy is bodied. He is sent flying. And Fedotov takes it against the boards and holds it for a face-off.
Now Murphy's reacting here. He's got to be careful. He got nailed. He wasn't looking. He had his head down. It was a clean check. He really got nailed. And Murphy reacted and almost took a cross-checking penalty. Davidov missed 3 months last year in Russia. He broke his leg badly. He was considered the best forward on the national under 18 years of age team. Now watch, as you're going to see Murphy get hit here. He's digging for the puck. He doesn't see the check coming, but the elbows were down. He's got to keep himself under control.
Kovalov is the man who came in and dished out that body check. And the play is whistled down at the line on an offside call, and 2 players, Konstantinov and Korson, get tangled up. Feelings running very high between these 2 teams. It was evident this morning when the 2 sides followed each other in their morning workout.
The Russian Hockey Club were on for their morning skate, and the Canadian players were sitting on the bench, and a little verbal abuse, glares at each other. Not much love lost, of course. This Russian team, Don, lots of experience. They have 10 returning players from last year's squad that played in Finland. The Canadian club has 4 returning players, so the experience level lies in the favor of the Russians.
Well, neither the Soviets nor the Canadians have any hope of winning the fair play trophy in this tournament. I'm not concerned about that one as much as winning the gold medal. The Soviets, the most penalized team in the tournament. Canada ranks 4th in penalty minutes. deflected wide, and the defenseman Crabtree got in there to block it. QIWI with the shot. Now that went off late to the corner. He gets it again. He winds up.
To create some interference at the Canadian blue line so QUOTE could keep the puck in. Once the puck was kept in, they were able to recover, control the puck, and put it by the goaltender. Beloshakin, the goalkeeper, hasn't had any work. Corson's right with nobody around him at all. Loose puck in the net, 1-0 Canada. Watch this, it's a bad rebound. Beloshakin goes down at a bad angle. Corson's right there smartly and put it in, but Sanlak had done the job at the Canadian blue line, creating interference so QUOTE could keep the puck in, and they converted that turnover into a goal. Good, serious teamwork by Team Canada.
That tie, Shane Corson for the lead in goal scoring among Canadian players with Gary Roberts. They each have 6. Corson has come up with some very valuable goals, 2 against the U.S. Loose puck at the side of the Canadian goal, and there's a move by the Soviet player as number 10, Ravil Haydarov, bumped goaltender Craig Millington after he was down. He came right across him as he had frozen the puck in the crease.
Well, we mentioned that the Russian team leads the whole tournament, penalty minutes. Now there's actually a little follow-through as he's pushed from behind by the Canadian player Moylan. Nothing too serious, but they're aggressive. Don't let anybody try and con you any way different. They're as tough as any other team in this tournament.
Corson from Sylvain QUOTE at 6:36, the official on that Canadian goal. 1-0 Canada lead. Loose puck in the corner. Picked up by Roberts. Back to the line. Lieberose couldn't get a shot on net. He played it around the boards to the other corner. Picked up there by Roberts. Roberts goes around to the other side. Lieberose races in from the point, and he plays it around the board. Picked up by Laxdal. He goes to the other side. Roberts has it as the Canadian team manages to control it. Now it comes loose. Conroy couldn't get a stick on it, and it's brought out by the Soviets. Fedotov misses the check in the center ice area, and it's fired back out and touched, a 2-line pass by the Canadian team. 12:37 is the time remaining. Coliseum lie in this gold medal battle, and wherever you're looking in across the CBC television network tonight, we hope you're enjoying the action in the World Junior Championship from Hamilton. Stopped back at the net, played up along the boards by Cartner. Poked out into the center ice area. QUOTE could not get there. It's fired in on net, and Billington is forced to make the save. QUOTE wheeling back to his own net, played it along the left wing boards, looking for Robitaille, too far for him. This will produce an icing call against Canada.
One of the few icing calls we've had in this hockey game. One of the defensemen, Kretchuk, is how you pronounce the Russian's name. He's a tall kid, not all that big. Plays well. Their defensive pairings have been together for a long time, Don. A lot of the players on this Russian team come from a center called Ufa, which is about 600 miles due east of Moscow. And they feel that with these youngsters coming in as units, they'd be able to form a better hockey club.
This telecast tonight being seen all across Canada, and it is also being beamed by a satellite back to the Soviet Union. Now it's Murphy, one of the keys for Canada, finding some room at center ice, working it across the line, but Peter Durst had to put on the brakes at the blue line.
Goaltender, you're allowed to have 3 goalkeepers on the roster. Kay Whitmore is the 3rd goalkeeper, not dressed, of course. He's one of these, the people in case of an injury. He's the 3rd one for Team Canada.
Odeline, one of 4 players with the gold medal winning team a year ago from Quill Lake, Saskatchewan, playing for the Regina Pats, drives it in. Greenlaw picked it up off the boards and got a shot on net. Odeline having a little trouble controlling it at the line. Finally, he pokes it in, and the Soviets' Konstantinov takes over in his own zone. 11:19 is the time remaining in this first period. 1-0 Canada lead. Here's a chance. Vязьmikin fires it wide. He's one of the top-rated Soviet players. Loose puck in the Canadian zone as Vязьmikin overskated it, and it's played around to the other side.
Now, when Lieberose was sidestepped by Vязьmikin, Odeline came across. I think you'll see stronger teamwork by the defensive pairings, especially later on in the tournament like we're seeing now. You know, these players were just put together prior to the tournament. Now they're starting to feel better as units.
Puck in the Soviet zone, rink-wide pass. Oh, what a hit by Semak. Here's a chance for Newendijk. Right in front of the net. And Semak couldn't get a stick on it. Kote with a shot. Loose puck at the side of the net. Newendijk has it for Canada. Great opportunity for Canada. Set up by a tremendous hit by Semak, one of the holdovers from last year's championship team. Now in the center ice area, it's Newendijk. Launching a check across the line. Another good move. And he lost control of it as Korson was breaking in with him. Semak on the right side to Hydarov. Hydarov looking for Semak. A shot right off. Billington knocks it high in the air. Tremendous action at the midway point of this first period. Picked up now by S.Kote. Back of the net from Moylan. Up on the left side. Too far for Korson. And it slides back into the Soviet zone. Canada makes the change.
Great save by Billington with his glove hand. The referee Olsen letting this heavy body work go. He just calls mostly retaliation penalties. He doesn't mind this going out, seeing the heavy hitting.
Loose puck in back of the net. A jab away at it. Finally it's pulled free. Kote loses it. Some help as the Canadian defender was covering up, and Conroy brings it out and shoots it down into the Soviet zone.
You have to give that Semak some credit. He came back from being in the penalty box, Don. He was just nailed by Sandlak.
Kamensky in across the line for Osipov. He couldn't get a stick on it. The Canadian player, Conroy, comes back to poke it free. And for Canada now, it's Laxdal working down into the Soviet zone, trying to center it. Intercepted by Kamensky and cleared to center ice. 1-0 Canada leads with 8:50 remaining in this opening period. Goal by Shane Korson. And now we've got a penalty coming up against the Canadian team. And going to the box, and the charging call will...
Laxdal takes the charging penalty for Team Canada. That's the second penalty of the period for the Canadians. The Soviets have not spent any time in the penalty box to this point. The Soviets don't have a player that scored more than one power play goal, and they have 8 on the hockey club throughout this tournament.
Laxdal, who joined this junior team from the Brandon Wheat Kings in draft choice in Toronto. Penalty killing unit with Mellanby getting a shot on goal from that face-off. The Soviets throwing it around in their own zone. Mellanby controls it for Canada. He's bumped along the boards, and the Soviets go deep in their own zone trying to regroup. Good forechecking and body work on the part of Scott Mellanby as he stepped into the Soviet player Osipov. Now Vязьmikин wheels out of his own zone across the Canadian line. Drop pass for Galchenyuk. He fed it to the line, got a return pass in the corner. Galchenyuk leaves it there for Vязьmikин. Vязьmikin back to the net right up front. He tries to jam it in to the line and not out. From the other point, Tatarino fired it, went off the leg. Viveros tries to go back at the net to Odeline. Odeline plays it around the board and down the ice.
Only had 4 or 5 shots, Don, but every one of them has been a severe shot. That last one, when Vязьmikин came around with the puck, Billington at the point of contact stood on his feet, made a good save. Great penalty killing to this point again.
Tatarino dumping it down into the Canadian zone, racing back after it is Kote. This is a landing ball against the Soviet Union.
Good look at Dag Olsen. You know, there was some concern a while ago that they did not want Olsen to referee in the Canada Cup. And the Team Canada people, of course, they put their vote in no, or niet, I guess as they say. And they ended up getting Dag Olsen, a Swedish referee. He refereed the game between the Russians and the Americans earlier in the tournament. He called 12 minors in that game, 7 to the Americans.
One thing Terry Simpson stressed to his team was with the referees such as Olsen, he will call reaction penalties. And we have seen 2 reaction penalties on the part of the Canadian team in this first period. 36 seconds remaining in the penalty to Derek Laxdal. Play broken up at the line, and a good hit there as Conroy, only 5'7", stepped into the Soviet player Nikonov. And every member of this Canadian team in this first period has been throwing his weight around very effectively. Lead pass to the right side. Hydarov cutting for the net. He was unable to control it as he was sent flying. As a matter of fact, he goes right into the Canadian goal. It's cleared down the ice, and again, Canada will kill off his Soviet power play.
That was a super lead pass to keep him to the outside, and then Ben showed emotion. They thought a penalty should have been called.
Stapleton lines up. That shot went off to Dozov. Stapleton gets it again. was centered. He tried to deflect it. For the Chicago Blackhawks. Some good hitting there on the part of Scott Mellanby, as he has really been bouncing those red-clad Soviet players around. Brought in across the line by Stapleton. Dropped it for Robitaille. He let a shot go. It goes loose back to the net. Mellanby bumps again with the Soviet player Tatarinov, but it's picked up by Fedotov. He feeds it out to Nikonov. Nikonov is stopped in the center ice area. 6:06 remaining. Lead pass for Nikonov to Semak. Semak working to the corner, trying to move in. It's poked away, comes back to the line. Nikita takes the shot. That bounced off the player to the corner. Picked up by Viveros for Canada into the center ice area. He takes the give and go and across the line. Another shot as the Canadian player Murphy came flying in there. And that just sailed wide. Canada has had the better scoring opportunities of this first period, and they lead 1-0. Now it's Robitaille trying to get another shot. But Beloshikin is down. The Canadian team coming close again. Now Hydarov trying to split the defense. He does. He was unable to get the shot away as S.Kote managed to lift his stick. Now it's Alain Côté, a pass over on the left wing as the Canadian team is making a line change. Soviets back into their own zone with 5 minutes remaining in this opening period. 1-0 Canada leads. Kamensky across the line, a drive off a leg to the corner. Sergeyev back to the net, out front. Kamensky tries to jam it and Billington hangs on. Teams undefeated through their first 5 games of round-robin play. The tournament taking place here in Southern Ontario, getting underway on Boxing Day, and it will conclude on Saturday. And on Saturday afternoon on CBC Sports Weekend, we'll have the tournament's final game between Canada and Czechoslovakia.
Tell you, Don, to this point, this is as good a first period I've ever seen in my life. Lots of body checks, great plays. They're showing sensational skill. This is just thoroughly enjoyable.
And, of course, a capacity crowd, and they are absorbing every moment of this fine action. Here's a chance for Canada. Conroy tried to get it in front to Laxdal. He was tied up by the Soviet defender and couldn't get a good shot away. A 2-on-1 break there for Canada that just failed to click. Now Laxdal steps into Kamensky. Osipov is forced back into his own zone. Now the Soviets bring it out with Monaenkov getting it to the line. He's stopped there. Kartner's pass knocked down in the center ice area by Kamensky.
John, lots of forechecking here by Canada. They're just saying the one guy in after those defensemen for Russia. They're not getting trapped. They haven't given up 2-on-1s. They haven't given up 3-on-2s. That's when the Russians are more skilled than most teams because they're better passers and can score. Canadians aren't allowing those situations to arise here by not getting trapped deep.
Well, of course, the Soviets make that transition from offense to defense so quickly, and they quite often have knocked off Canadian teams with those 2-on-1 and 3-on-2 breaks. An offside at the Soviet blue line with 3:56 remaining in the period.
I was talking to a lot of Jim Sandlak's teammates with Team Canada, and I was saying, who is the team leader in the dressing room between periods? And he said, a lot of them say Jim Sandlak. Now watch Semak, he's going to end up in the penalty box. Follow through by Sandlak. What a great body check. Moments later, he nailed Tatarinov. A great shift, but Sandlak, I'll tell you, when he matures as a person to play with men in the National Hockey League, the Vancouver Canucks have a big find there.
Davidoff trying to move in on goal. Sandlak bumping in the corner. The puck is loose. It comes back to Kovalev, and Kovalev couldn't get a shot away. It's loose at center ice, fired to an open wing, picked up by the Soviets. Davidoff brought it in across the line, couldn't go anywhere with it. Viveros for Canada clears it to center ice. It's loose there. Tatarinov lost it to Shane Corson. He dumps it in on the left side for Sandlak, too far, and it's cleared to the line and dumped out by Kovalev. Now it's Davidoff across the line with Galchenyuk to pass over on the wing to Vязьмикин. Vязьmikин circling the net, unable to get a shot away. Back to the line to Tapanarov. Here's another chance for the Soviet Union as it's cleared to the side of the net and picked up by Neuendijk, and there's going to be a penalty for the Canadian team again.
Sandlak ended up nailing one of the Russian players, Vязьmikин, and I'll tell you what, there may have been a goal a minute ago, except for it hit one of the Russian players' skates. They're starting to Vязьmikин still on the ice, being attended to by the training staff of the Soviet Union's junior hockey club. He was nailed from behind. You see a concerned look on the coach of the Russian team, Vasilyev. Vязьmikин's a big kid. He was a player that was sent home last year because of disciplinary reasons. He is a great hockey player. Scouts are drooling about his play. Look at the check from behind by Sandlak. He came from outside by the blue line a good 50 feet before he nailed the Russian player. He appears to be all right.
Twice, Vязьmikин was reprimanded by the Soviet officials for drinking, and they say he's something of a free spirit. And the Soviet coaches recognize his extreme talent, so they have been willing in the past to condone some of his off-ice problems. And the fans react here as he comes back on the ice, and Terry Simpson is up yelling at the officials.
I thought he was within inches of heading to the hospital, but it looks like he's back. He's not going to miss a shift. He's a big kid. We saw him practice this morning, and you're right, Don, they do call him the free spirit of Russia. In fact, he's supposed to be the player of his age that is the best in the world, and when he got reprimanded, it certainly tarnished his image.
So the Soviets have their third power play of this opening period. Canada in front by a score of 1-0. Konstantinov, back of his own net. Gets it up on the right side to Nikitin. He tries to play it ahead to Vязьmikин, and it was broken up by Stapleton, who did a good job of forechecking there for Canada. Vязьmikin now to the chorus of blues, cascading down from the stands here at the Cops Coliseum. Lost it at the line. Pulled free by Mellanby. Mellanby in across the line. Mellanby circles back to his own line now and pulls off some seconds, circling back and dumping it down the ice into the Soviet zone.
We mentioned at the opening of the show the penalty killing would play a role. This is the third penalty Canada's had. Soviet Union hasn't had any. The penalty killing's been super to this point.
Vязьmikin is body control as the puck gets an opening and clears it. 1 minute remaining in the penalty to Sandlak. S.Kote up along the boards. Canada unable to get it out. Here's a shot from the blue line by Salyana, and Billington squeezed out between his pads.
When Billington made the save, Semak gets
1986 World Championship here at the Cops Coliseum.
a lot of talk around among scouts and staffs of teams. They feel that Nieuwendyk, if he keeps playing well these last two games, may be the tournament MVP for Team Canada. Yeah, that's how well he has played. But Jem was fine for the Calgary Flames, a second rounder with him.
Semak trying to set something up. Takes the shot, he scores! A screen shot as Hydarov went to the front of the net, and Billington did not see it as it was along the ice, and Semak found the far corner. It's tied at 1.
Semak waited and waited and waited, had nowhere to go with the puck, and Hydarov got himself in a good position. Look at him get his position now. Just as he skates in front, that's when Billington had opened his legs, thinking there's going to be a pass, and he's going to have to move across to one side or the other. Here we'll see Billington's got perfect position, but he opens the legs and right through the middle of them. Those people standing in front in those situations, Don, have to be moved out of the way. There's no question. You have to let your goaltender have some vision. Good shot by Semak. Power play goal, by the way.
This is the third World Championship for Semak. He played in both 84 and 85. The Soviets have 10 players on the roster who participated in last year's tournament. Canada has 4 players who were part of that gold medal winning effort in 1985.
Fedotov gets the assist on Semak's second goal of the tournament. For Semak, he also has 5 assists with those 2 goals.
Well, Canada did a most effective job on killing off that penalty until that shot by Semak found the range. Now it's Peter Duras back at his own net for Canada. The score is tied at 1. Kamensky steals the puck at the blue line, dumps it into the corner. It goes loose. Delmar out of line, got it around to the other side, and Roberts dumped it into the center ice area. Now here's a chance for the Soviets. Brought in by Turgeyev. Turgeyev is sent flying in the corner. Odeline comes in to bump a Soviet player. A loose puck. Duras along the boards. Gets it out into the center ice area, having difficulty controlling it there against Kravchuk. Now Viveros following up on the play. Fires it into the Soviet zone. As both sides change, this will be an icing call against Canada with 31 seconds remaining in the period.
You know, Beaverov had that puck one step from center ice with nobody around him, and he fired it in, and that's what caused the icing. He takes one more step, and it would not have been icing.
The face-off to the left of Billington with the score tied at 1. In Canada's 2 gold medal winning years, they shut out the Soviets both times, 7-0 in Winnipeg in 1981-82 and 5-0 last year in Turku, Finland. The Soviets, Yelchenyuk playing it around on the boards. Osipov is bumped. It comes out into the center ice area. Soviets trying to regroup and set something up. It's dumped in, and there's a whistle on the play, and an icing call against the Soviet Union, or an offside call, I guess it is, at the Canadian blue line with just 2 seconds remaining in the period.
Craig Billington has been the star the last 2 years in goal for Team Canada. In 84-85, he won the Bobby Smith Trophy, the Ontario Hockey League Scholastic Player of the Year when he played for the Belleville Bulls. He was also a first-team All-Star that year. Quality goalkeeper. Don, Canada's got to stay out of the penalty box. It's a matter of time before the Soviet Union will control on their power play. They were 1 for 3 that period. A 1-1 score. Entertaining to watch.
A very entertaining.
Yesterday, the Memorial Gardens in London, Ontario, the Soviet Union remaining undefeated, defeating the Czechs by a score of 4-3. In the first period, Valery Kamensky, couple of nice moves to split the defense, and the Soviets had the lead by 1. Still in that first period, Yuri Nikonov will score as the Soviets. Here's the pass out to Nikonov. They make it 2-0 in the first period. We move now to the second period of play. Vladimir Kastok scores for the USSR, and they led by a score of 3-1. Now another Soviet goal. This one is scored by Kovalev. In the second period, the crowd was pro-Czechoslovakia, but it looked to be all over at this point as the Soviets led by 3, 4-1. Now a controversial play leads to a penalty shot. This is Robert Cron. He is pulled down in front of the Soviet net. He is awarded the penalty shot. I was very, very impressed with this young man's play, even though they lost to the United States here on Friday. Here's the goal from the right side by Cron. They trailed then 4-2, went on to lose by only a goal, 4-3.
John Davidson, do you notice any similarities in their style?
Well, one thing, he's not near as good as Tretiak was, but they do play similar, and they're down on their knees a lot, and they kick the legs out in what they call a butterfly style. He did have some tutoring from Tretiak, and there's where you do see those similarities in style.
Moylan picks it up in the center ice area. Robitaille gives it back to Moylan. He goes cross ice for Mellanby. Mellanby gets away from the Czech as he dumps it into the corner. It comes out into the center ice area. Moylan has to wait for Mellanby to get back on side, then he dumps it in. Tatarinov for the Soviets back after. He takes the chip. Looks at the staple and a shot over the net. Mellanby has been very effective with the body. He has been hitting every red jersey in sight. Now a loose puck picked up and brought out by Semak. He has the Soviet goal. Across the line, the Soviets like to use that drop pass. He tried to drop it off. It was picked off by Canada. They come back with Mellanby trying to get set. Mellanby looking for someone to pass to. Goes to the side of the net. They get it in front of Stapleton. He couldn't get a shot away. Stapleton now tries to center it. Bellows shaken, clears it to the board. At the line, Partner with a drive, and hits Fedotov and goes to the corner. Robitaille puts it back of the net for Mellanby. He's bodied against the boards by Tatarinov. Mellanby manages to get that puck out. Centered it, and Robitaille couldn't get a stick on it. Now Partner winds up. His shot bounces off Hydarov and all the way back into the Canadian zone. Billington leaves it in the corner for S.Kote. He dumps it off for Carson. We played a minute and a half of the second period. The score is tied at 1. Plays it around on the boards, and it's broke out into the center ice area. Osipov working in against Viveros, going to his backhand the shot, and Billington makes the save. And Viveros rammed Osipov into the end boards after he got that backhand shot away. Kravchuk breaks off the play and dumps it into the center ice area. Osipov to Kamensky. Kamensky is hit by Overline. Picked up by Osipov. He scores! into the Soviets' Kamensky, and Osipov picked up the loose puck and went to the backhand for the goal.
Exactly right, Don. When two players go for one Soviet player, leaves somebody open. Osipov has great speed. He picked up the loose puck and simply went to the outside. Now watch everybody make the body checks here. Osipov picks up that loose puck, and around he goes with great speed. And Viveros had moved up with with Odeline and made the big play. Osipov's got great speed, Don, and he certainly took advantage of it, went around everybody as Viveros and Odeline got mixed up with each other.
And Kamensky paid the price as he took the hit and making the play. Oh, there's a big hit in open ice as Davidoff is decked by Moylan. The puck slides into the Soviet zone. Korson collides with the Soviet player. The puck goes loose. Now it's poked out into the center ice area. Davidoff working against Kote. Kote takes it down. The puck goes loose in the corner, and it's whistled down. There's going to be a penalty, a cross-checking call. And the Soviet player is down on the ice.
Neuendijk's going to get caught for cross-checking. His emotions here are beginning to get a wee bit to the left in the second. Dyke gets the cross-checking penalty deep in that Soviet zone. The Soviet Union are 1 for 3 on their power play in this hockey game. Well, watch. There's the original check along the boards by S.Kote, and then the penalty was taken by Neuendijk. So the Soviets 1 for 3, and that was that goal from a bad angle through a screen on Billington. It's going to be a crucial time of the hockey game, Don.
The fourth consecutive penalty against Canada. 17:20 remaining in the second period. The Soviets in front 2-1. At the end of the first period, Terry Simpson and the Canadian team upset with a high stickage infraction by Kovalev just as the siren sounded against Shane Korson. He threw his stick right up in Korson's face just as the period ended, and there was no penalty on the play, and that's what Coach Terry Simpson was very upset about. Vязьmikin in across the line, but Konstantinov was ahead of the play offside.
He was ahead of the play because Korson's goal. Now watch Viveros, number 3. He's going to go and try and find that loose puck. Bad judgment. He wasn't sure if he could get it or not. And Osipov with great speed to get around Billington. Billington was back a little deep on that play too, Don. Perhaps be a little more challenging when it's when a guy's coming in from an angle like that. Use the goal stick.
Canadian team firing it down the ice with 1:30 remaining in the penalty to Joe Neuendijk. Katharinov leads the Soviets out of their own zone on the right side to Yapaenko. Over to the other side now to Fedotov. Fedotov in the corner. Back to the line. Katharinov to Vязьmikin. Katharinov back to Vязьmikin. Cross ice to Fedotov. Fakes the shot. Fedotov having difficulty there with Conroy. Goes back to the net. Konstantinov tied up by Viveros. The puck comes loose along the board. Vязьmikin now at the top of the circle. Takes the shot. Hits the leg. He gets it again. A shot right on. And Billington makes the save. Loose puck in front of the net. Vязьmikin back to the line. Fedotov over to Tatarinov. His shot deflected in front. Loose puck in that Canadian zone. And finally it's brought out by Conroy with 40 seconds remaining in the penalty. Conroy was stopped by Tatarinov. There's going to be a penalty against the Soviet Union. Konstantinov behind the play.
Konstantinov pulled down Shane Korson way behind the play, and that's going to negate what time the Soviets had left on their power play, 37 seconds to be exact. A cross-checking call. You saw the sign from Dag Olsen. Watch way behind the play. The puck's going to go up ice. Right there you see him get knocked down by Konstantinov. The power play for the Soviets, they kept the puck to the outside again, didn't get many glaring scoring opportunities, but the rest of it's been negated. Team Canada now will play 37 seconds with just 4 skaters apiece, 5 including the goalkeepers, but again we have to mention that's a different rule.
37 seconds remaining in the penalty to
Neuendijk.
Konstantinov in the penalty box for the Soviet Union. The first penalty against the Soviets in this hockey game. In the center ice area, Kote having difficulty controlling it as it was poked away from him by Kravchuk at the line. Now Semak cutting into the right side in front, and it was deflected wide by Nikolaev.
Hey, Murphy came back real well with him. Joe Murphy's not noted for his defensive play. He came back and made a play which may have saved the goal.
Lead pass intended for Murphy across 2 lines. 11 seconds remaining in the penalty to Nieuwendyk, and then Canada will have its first power play opportunity.
Greg Billington plans to study philosophy at the University of Western Ontario during next summer. Now watch the puck go in front of the net, and watch Murphy come right back with the Soviet player, knocks the puck away as he was back checking deep in his own zone. And that was a super play by young Joe Murphy defensively.
Greg Billington, who this year has played 3 games with the New Jersey Devils of the National Hockey League, and has won all 3, played his junior hockey with the Belleville Bulls. Racing back into his own zone is Salyanin. He's hammered into the boards. Puck poked up to the line and into the center ice area. Now Canada with Nieuwendyk stepping onto the ice has the man advantage. A pass almost intercepted. Picked off now by Viveros, too far for Nieuwendyk. It slides into the Soviet zone. The Soviets trying to get it out of there. They're having some problems with the Canadian forechecking. They tie it up back at the net for a face-off, and again, some shoving after the whistle.
The only time that the Canadian hockey clubs had good goal-scoring opportunities in this game is when they've really bottled up that Soviet defense, forechecking deep in the Soviet corners. They've controlled those corners, but it hasn't happened that often. The puck hasn't been back to that often. Here they 2-on-1, Monikov, and he gets nailed, pushing and shoving again after the hockey. And if they can be under control, under wraps, they're better for it, but they can't play without emotions. You have to remember that too.
Loose puck, back to the line to Kote. Over to the other point, a shot by Viveros, that did not get through. And as you pointed out in the first period, John, this Soviet team, they block a lot of shots with their defensemen. Into the slot to Duras, he couldn't get a shot away, and the Soviets bring it up. Kovalev in across the Canadian line, he's checked. Viveros now trying to set something up, starting back for Canada to Murphy. Murphy dodges one check, got in across the line, was spun around, and the Soviets clear it.
Soviets put up the blue line very well that time. Canada, no way they were going to make a play at that blue line. Dump it in, get going, get some speed going.
Robitaille in the center ice area, almost lost it. Brought in by Duras, but it hit a leg and bounces out to the neutral zone. Just 11 seconds remaining in the man advantage. Duras tries again. Duras at the line, has it poked away, and the Soviets will effectively kill off his penalty. Here's Murphy coming to the line, stop there. The Soviets are back at full strength. It's brought in offside by Kote.
Canada continued to try and get over the blue line by handling the puck, making a play, dump it in if it's impossible to get across. Soviets super penalty kill.
24 is the time left in the second. The Soviet Union leading 2-1.
John, we'll see quite a battle here the rest of the way. The best line for the Soviets is this line, number 8, 9, and 10. Semak centering it. The best line for Canada is the line that's on the ice, centered by Nieuwendyk. They're going to go head-to-head probably the rest of the way. It's going to be fun to watch.
Sylvain Kote back into his own zone. Being chased there by Semak. Gets it ahead to Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk flips it down into the zone. Sandlak trying to gain possession of that puck and was bodied off it by Kravchuk. Nikonov loses it to Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk to Shane Corson. He was checked as he attempted to follow up on the play. Rink-wide pass now. The Soviets in across the line. Drop pass for Haydarov. Haydarov couldn't find anyone to center it to as he was taken in against the board. And the Canadian team comes back, and the Soviet player is down at the line. And the fans here in the Cops Coliseum react when these Soviet players go down. They appear to be great actors because the 2 previous players who were hit and went down, I'm thinking particularly of Vязьmikин, got up and came back on the very next shift.
I'm not sure who that is down on the ice, if that's Nikonov or not. Number 8. Yes, it is Nikonov, the left winger on this big line.
Well, this one may well be a legitimate injury because we saw him this morning in the workout go down in the corner with what appeared to be something of a groin pull.
Yeah, and he's flexing his left leg. To be very honest, I didn't see
T-shirts with the maple leaf emblazoned across the front or the back, and many of the spectators coming into the building with Canadian flags. Sergeyev brought in across the line. by Laxdal, tied up. Still managed to dig the puck out. Kamensky took a shot. It went wide. Now Oberline goes back to his own net. Up on the left side for Roberts. Roberts over on the right wing for Conroy. Conroy dodges a check at the line. Still managed to poke the puck behind the net. The Soviets trying to get it out of there. Viveros pinching in from the point, but it's controlled by the Soviets. And Mona Enkov brings it down the ice and into the Canadian zone before he's bumped to fall down. And the Canadian team now takes over in its own end. Viveros up on the right side to Laxdal. A rink-wide pass. Conroy had difficulty controlling it. Races after it in the Soviet zone. And it was deflected by Roberts, who was tied up as Beloshakin made the save. Now the Soviets come back, 3-on-2. At the line, Moylan trying to take it away from Osipov. Osipov is successful, and back comes Conroy. Conroy on the right side. For Kote. Kote tried to slide it out front. Now Melody gets it to Kote. Kote didn't see where it was. And the Soviet player, Fedotov, rifles it around the boards and into the neutral zone. 11:45 remaining in the second period. The Soviets leading by 1. It was 1-1 after 20 minutes. Dorgayev lost it at the line. Lead pass to Robitaille from Moylan across 2 lines.
Luke Robitaille getting lots of ice time in this particular game. Draft choice for the Los Angeles Kings. 171st overall. He plays for Hull, which is owned by Wayne Gretzky, of all people. Wayne Gretzky and David Foster, of course, in the music industry. There's Scott Mellanby. He's having a great game again. Bobby Clark stated publicly that he thought Mellanby could step right in and play with the Flyers right now. I talked to Mike Keenan the other night when Mike Keenan and the Flyers were in Edmonton. He says that he's pleasantly surprised with the way that Mellanby's offensive skills are starting to come and show a little bit better.
And, of course, he should fit in well with that Philadelphia system because he uses the body most effectively.
Well, he sure does. And he does it effectively, Don. He doesn't play it stupidly. He takes the body well, wins the battle for the puck. And the thing is, when he's getting the puck, he doesn't throw it blind. He controls it, or else what they call eat it. He'll take that face-off instead of giving it away.
Loose puck in the Canadian zone. Played back to the Soviet line. Tatarinov goes rink wide with it. And Kovalev shoots it into the Canadian zone as the Soviets make a change. Played ahead to Murphy. Murphy dodges a check at his own line. Greenlaw. Greenlaw going for the net. Oh! He got in behind Beloshakin and slid it to the far side and hit the post.
Beloshakin made a bad play on that particular play by Greenlaw. Beloshakin was lucky.
10:43 is the time remaining in this second period.
Greenlaw was very, very close to tying the game up. But watch Beloshakin. He has no need to go right out, way over to the left side of the crease. Greenlaw saw that and just skidded to the outside of the goalpost. Close call for both teams.
From the faceoff, winds up and Beloshakin makes the save. And then Korson is driven right into the Soviet goaltender Beloshakin, and the net is moved off its moorings. Vladimir Vasiliev, the coach of this Soviet team, not related to Valery Vasiliev, who for a number of years was one of the stars of the Soviet national squad.
Here's that face-off, which was controlled by Team Canada. Watch everybody drive for that net. Beloshakin, there's that Tretiak style where he goes down into that butterfly position. Korson follows through. Wasn't pushed or anything, but Beloshakin held onto that puck for another face-off in the same spot.
This time the Soviets get the draw. Monaenkov gets it around on the boards, and it's cleared out to the center ice area. Nikonov, who took that hit and had to be helped out, knocked back out there for the Soviet squad. From the line, a blast hit the leg, bounced out into the center ice area. Viveros back into his own zone for Canada. Plays it ahead for Korson across the line, a 2-line pass. That is whistled down.
You know, this goalkeeper Billington's very, very technically sound in his goalkeeping play, but he was telling me he looks at these face-off circles to monitor how he should play the angles. He says the face-off half circles are painted 3 inches too far away from the boards on both sides of the ice. And he says that throws him off a little bit with his angles. Now, he must be really technically sound if he can tell 3 inches technically sound, but I was a long ways from it.
You just filled up the net for the New York Rangers.
There you go.
Really you were big enough. A shot right on, and Billington takes it up with a shoulder pad off the blast by Kamensky.
Fellow shaken there, you see how they keep the bottom of those goal pads tied right underneath that blade of the goal skate. He wears knee pads inside of those goal pads and on the outside of his socks, his hockey socks, try and take away some of the sting from the slap shots. Wears the cage. The Russians, Soviets were the first to wear the cages that I had seen.
You made a comment this morning. It wasn't difficult to tell which Soviet goaltender was going to play. The one with the new equipment. In the morning workout was the man who was going to be between the pipes. Oleg Bratash is the backup for the Soviets.
Bratash is the backup, but his equipment looks like it. Well, it's pretty old. Let's just put it that way. I don't know how he'd go in there and play with this stuff, but Beloshakin, the #1 goalkeeper. There we take a look at Bratash. He played a game last year. He was with his club last year. He plays in a junior league in the Soviet Union still. Not playing for an elite club, which is the #1 league in the Soviet Union. Boy, oh boy, I hate to be a backup goaltender for that team. They keep the shots down on their #1 goalkeeper, and if you're the backup, it's up off the shoulders and crossbars and not much fun.
Carl Gump Worsley, a scout for the New York Rangers, made that comment this morning. He said, boy, did they ever whistle it around that fella's head in that morning workout. Conroy in across the line. He is checked by Nikonov. The puck cleared to the line. The Soviets having problems getting it out, and it's kept in by Canada. 9:33 is the time remaining in the second. The Soviets in front by a score of 2-1. Yelenshiak brings it out into the Canadian zone. Carter is bumped. Puck is loose. Played around the boards, but kept in there by Kravchuk. Kovalev tried to play it back to the point. Laxdal was there to deflect it out to center ice. 9:07 left in the second. It's a 2-1 game. The Soviets in front. A winner will claim the gold medal in this World Junior Tournament. On the right side now. Vязьmikin cutting for the net. Backhand shot. He flies right into the goal post. He's hurt. He lost his balance as he let that backhand go, and he crashed right into the goal post.
I'll tell you, Don, he's a great hockey player, this Vязьmikin. You can see why they talk about him in the Soviet Union. He showed some speed, got around the defenseman, and made a good goal. 2 years ago, Vязьmikin was the star of the club that won the gold medal in Sweden in the junior tournament there. Watch the play to the outside. He keeps body control. He's got lots of speed. He makes a good play. Billington covers up that short side by controlling the puck, and there you see Vязьmikin slide right into that goal post, and what a collision that was. He appears to be all right. I see now, Don, that Nikonov has not missed a shift. Number 8, he was the last Soviet that had fallen to injury. He hasn't missed a shift.
8:40 remaining in the period. Pass intercepted by the Soviets. Nikonov is the man who picked it off at the line and lost control of it, and it's dumped down the ice. Canada having trouble penetrating that Soviet defense in this second period with the same success they had in the opening 20 minutes.
You're absolutely right. Patience is now a key. It's a one-goal hockey game. Just keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing. Don't take too many chances, or those Soviets are just going to jump on those opportunities that they'll find.
Greenlaw shoots it in. Zalyana plays it up around the boards. A race for that loose puck. And the Soviet player Semak got there first and dumped it into the Canadian corner. And there's going to be a penalty, I believe, against Odeline.
Odeline, a definite hook. He got beat to the outside, and he reached out with his stick and pulled down the Soviet player.
So the
Odeline gets the hooking penalty. The Soviet Union 1 for 4 on their power play. Now watch Semak with great speed. Watch Odeline with his hockey stick pull him down from behind. There's the speed of the Soviet Union to their advantage, and their power play working again. Semak has the power play goal for the hockey club.
Back to the line. Katharinov with a shot. Toe save by Billington. He had to react quickly. And there's in the Canadian zone right in front of the official, Dag Olsen. And Olsen did not make any move. Katharinov fell to the ice as though he had been injured, and he was the
Tatarynov.
Loose puck in the center ice area now, picked up by Turgeyev. He drops it back to Tatarynov, to Turgeyev. He was unable to touch it, and that is a ball against the Soviets. Simpson, undefeated as a coach in World Junior Championship play. And Tatarynov had a number of comments to make in the Hamilton press coming into this game about how he wanted to get certain Canadian players as a result of last year.
Here's that play by Tatarynov as he takes down one of the Canadian players. Yes, he did mention that he lost part of one of his front teeth in a game, and he also felt that he was viciously attacked and hit by the Canadian players Wendell Clark and Jim Sandlack, and then he was out for the rest of the tournament. They were both good body checks because I was there and saw them. But he's the leader of the hockey club, and he's getting underneath a lot of people's skin right now. And that's his tactic, and that's what makes him a good player.
Well, when he indicates that Dave Schultz is one of his favorite players, we understand the makeup of this young man. The Canadian team takes over in its own zone and manages to clear it. Now Nikitin shoots it in for the Soviet Union. Billington is there to stop it. Kote plays it around the boards and down the ice with 43 seconds remaining in the penalty total line. 6:39 the time left in this second period. Canada trailing by 1. Galchenyuk gets it over to Gapenko. Gapenko lost it at the line. Viveros to Kartner. He clears the zone. The Soviets come back. Vязьmikин trying to set something up. Vязьmikin not very popular with these Hamilton fans as he slid it to the side of the goal. It's held for a face-off by Billington.
Just 15 seconds left in that power play.
And Canada winds up the tournament on Saturday against Czechoslovakia. You'll see that game Saturday afternoon on CBC Sports Weekend. 15 seconds remaining in the penalty to Selmar Odeline. Conroy and Gapenko are waved out of the face-off circle. And that puck was dropped illegally. I believe it fell out of the hand of the Japanese lineman, Hidenori Nakawaka.
Actually, the stick from one of the centermen came up and caught his hand. He's done a pretty good job. Very prestigious for these linesmen to be able to come in different countries and be used in this tournament. They changed linesmen here for the dropping of the puck.
Now Sylvain Cote is bumped in against the boards. The puck comes back to the line. A shot deflected at the goal mouth. Gapenko tried to deflect that blast from the point by Selyanin. Selyanin gets it again. His shot is blocked. Another shot from the point. Canada back at full strength. Billington drops on that loose puck as Conroy comes in along with Kartner to deck one of the Soviet players, and he falls on top of the American linesman Jeff Shell at the side of the Canadian net.
Vязьmikin now getting mixed up with Shane Corson. Lots of body work by Terry Simpson's hockey club in front of the net. Now we mentioned on their power play they love to use the points. Every time they had the puck on that last shift, they were shooting the puck from the points. So as defensemen have to be aware of that action and try and knock people out from in front of the net. Now there's the screen set up perfectly. Now the Canadian players come over and try and knock that screen out of the way. Nikonov standing in front, trying to screen Billington.
These shots from the point, something different for the Soviet team on the power play too, John. They used to try and work that perfect give-and-go passing play to score those power play goals.
Well, the thing is, with this Soviet team here, it's not the most skilled hockey club they've ever had in this tournament, so they feel that's the best way that they're going to be powerful on that power play, get it back to the point, nothing fancy, and shoot the puck as much as possible. We take a look at Konstantinov, one of the bigger players in the hockey club. He comes from a city far away, Siberia. That's 6,000 odd miles away from Moscow. Huge, huge country. Over 2 million hockey players in the Soviet Union.
A lot of hockey players to choose from in the Soviet Union. And they have developed some outstanding teams over the years. Drop pass at the line, picked off by Nieuwendyk to Sandlack, the captain of the Canadian team. Fakes the shot, goes to the outside, tried to get it in front of Nieuwendyk, and it was blocked. And back comes the Soviet Union. Good move by Sandlak as he faked that shot to drop the defenseman and then tried to get it in front, but unfortunately for the Canadian team, it was blocked. Semak back into his own zone to Tatarina. Tatarina gets away from Newendike. Another good move at the Canadian line. Looking for Semak, the puck bounces high. And the Canadian player, Viveros, gets that loose puck and puts it to the other side to Mellanby. Mellanby moves away from Kamensky. Ahead to Shane Corson. Corson shoots it into the Soviet goal and then hauls down the Soviet player, Fedotov, right in front of the penalty box. No whistle, and the two players are still entangled. Great wide pass as Osipov attempts to take a shot, and the two players, Corson and Fedotov, were back pushing and shoving in the neutral zone right in front of the penalty box, and the officials, all three of them, totally oblivious to what was going on.
Dag Olsen actually looked back and saw it. He put the whistle to his mouth once done, didn't want to blow it dead, but Shane Corson, Dag Olsen having a tough time trying to keep things under control here as the second period winds down. Now the puck's gone way into the corner. Watch Corson pull down the Soviet player. Now they're going to wrestle. And I'll tell you, this is not wrestling. It's supposed to be ice hockey. They laid there for a good 30 seconds.
Crabtree from the faceoff had a blast look from the point that just went wide. Now Stapleton in his own zone, having trouble moving it out of there. The Soviets doing a good job of forechecking here and applying pressure. 4 minutes remaining in this second period. The Soviets leading by a score of 2-1. They have scored the only goal of this second period. Partner in his own zone. Gets it ahead to Stapleton. Stapleton into the center ice area to Robitaille. Robitaille, good move to get around the defender. Puts on the brakes. Dumps it into the corner to Mellanby. Mellanby looking back to the point. Nobody was in position. And Viveros has to race back into his own zone after it. Viveros, who plays for the Prince Albert Raiders. Now a lead pass for Murphy. Murphy gets the shot away. Bellows-Shakin made the save. And Murphy was unable to fire the rebound. Dug out by Robitaille. His backhand goes wide. And the puck is deflected over the glass and out of play.
Real good pressure by the Canadian Hockey Club. S.Kote teammates putting pressure on. S.Kote 2 years ago played 67 games with the Hartford Whalers. This year, not as much action as the team went with different defensemen, even though he stayed there for the year. You know, when they had a Pee-wee tournament way back in '79 in Quebec City, S.Kote was the MVP of that tournament. Scott Mellanby played in it.
And Kote yesterday celebrated his 20th birthday.
All right.
And he'd like to continue that celebration tonight by adding a gold medal. 3:18 remaining in the second period. 2-1, the Soviet Union leads Canada in a highly entertaining hockey game here at the Cops Coliseum. Capacity crowd watching the action. Canadian games in this building against the United States, Sweden. This one against the Soviet Union, and Saturday's game against Czechoslovakia. Total sellout. Loose puck in the center ice area. Greenlaw dumps it in for Canada. Fedotov back after it, plays it around in the boards. Odeline manages to keep it in. Odeline dumps it into the corner to Peter Duras. Duras is bumped and hauled down by Fedotov. No whistle, and the fans react again. Racing back after it is Odeline. An icing call against the Soviet Union. Joe Murphy, a young man many feel will be one of the top 1 or 2 or maybe 3rd pick in the draft, in that June draft taking place this year in Montreal. A blast from the point, deflected and cleared into the center ice area. Now it's Roberts dropping it off on the wing. Conroy tried to center it. It was deflected by the Soviets back out into the center ice area. The Canadian team has to go back to regroup. Semak ahead to Haydarov. Haydarov trying to cut in. Gets it out front. The Soviet player at the side of the net, Nikonov, is not flying. The puck is loose right in the goal crease. They jam away at it, and finally it's deflected to the corner. Semak gets it back to the point. Fired into the corner by Kritchuk. It comes around to the other outside to Nikonov. The Soviet player Haydarov is dumped at the blue line. As the puck came out, it was fired back in and touched there by Nikonov. Whistle down on the offside. And then the Canadian player, Laxdal, coming in across the line, took an elbow. He went down, but Dag Olsen did not blow the whistle. And now Shane Corson is getting involved. And then Soviet bench, as emotions continue to run very high in this gold medal battle. Laxdal is out there now. In front of the Canadian bench, he appears to be okay. But the Canadian team almost fell behind by 2 on this scramble in front of the Canadian net. Now Dag Olsen, the official, moves right into the crease, and finally that puck is poked off into the corner. He certainly had a close-up view of that puck as it lay in that Canadian crease. 1:51 remaining in this second period. John Davidson has made his way down to the Canadian bench and will be talking to a member of his 1986 tournament squad at the conclusion of this period. Nieuwendyk in that face-off circle against Torgeyev. He got the draw back. It's played over to Kartner. He shoots it into the Soviet zone, deflected in front of the net. Loose back, backhand shot. And Nieuwendyk hit the side of the net. Shane Corson has it now. And the Canadian player, Sandlak, is absolutely Soviet goal crease, and there is going to be a penalty. Salyanin, and with 1:36 remaining in the period, Canada will go to the power play. This is only the second power play opportunity. Now watch this in the goal crease. Salyanin absolutely hauls Sandlak down and holds him down. No question about that call, although it took a while for Dag Olsen to blow the whistle. That previous Canadian power play was not a full 2 minutes, as it came about a minute and a half into a Canadian penalty. Now it's Sandlak, the captain, back to the line. Stapleton with a shot off the leg to the corner. Nieuwendyk plays it back to the net. Corson was knocked down in front of the net by Fedotov. The fans reacted again. Picked up by the Soviets, brought out, they're checked at the line. Loose puck, the Canadian team takes over. Corson down the right wing, working against Fedotov. He puts on the brake, shoots it around on the boards. Pitching in from the point is Stapleton. Sandlak comes in to check the Soviet player, Galchenyuk. And I believe there's a penalty again. Yes, there is. As Olsen calls a high sticking penalty against the Canadian team captain, and some of the spectators here in the Cops Coliseum not impressed with the work of Dag Olsen, and they are letting him know, and they have also his troops down. Here's the penalty call. And Sandlak decks Galchenyuk in that Soviet zone. Not much question about the call. Coming into this game, the Soviet Union was the most penalized team with 88 minutes assessed against them, while Canada ranked 4th. And the teams are now playing 5 aside. Now it's S.Kote. Back to his own line to Viveros. Viveros tried to dump it in on the right side. However, it was whistled down as Conroy had preceded the puck across the line. Kravchuk, one of 10 Soviet players who was with the team at the Junior World Championship last year in Finland, a year that saw this Soviet team win the bronze medal. 50 seconds remaining in the period. Both teams undefeated, winning their first 5 games. The Soviet Union, 1 game remaining against Finland. Canada will wind up the tournament Saturday against Czechoslovakia. Murphy in across the line. Conroy breaking for the net. Deflected by Shaken. He for Canada, with Conroy almost tying it at 2. Kratchuk on the right side for Vязьmikин. It's poked away from him by Korson. He takes his man to the board, still got a stick on it. Semak now to Vязьmikin, back of the net. Vязьmikin with 8 seconds remaining, tried to play it back to the point. Kratchuk was not in position, and that should end the period as he fires it to the Canadian line, and it's knocked down there. Well, Joe Murphy made a pretty play to Al Conroy in the final minute of this period that almost tied the game at 2 as he broke down the right side and slid it across to the young player from the Medicine Hat Tigers. Watch the deflection, and Beloshakin, sprawling, just got a piece of it as he fell to deflect it by the post. Again, Murphy to the backhand. Conroy deflecting it. Beloshakin fell, but his foot came across. 59 seconds remaining in the penalty to Sandlak. 32 seconds in the penalty to Salyanin. From the face-off, right at the side of the net, they bang away. Beloshakin was down, but the puck moved out of danger, and the Soviets bring it out into the center ice area. Now it's fired in by Conroy. Korson stops it along the boards. Back to the net for Conroy to Korson. Korson tried to get it over to Selmar Odeline. It was knocked down and dumped to the corner. Cleared out into the center ice area. Viveros is back for Canada. He plays it over to Odeline. Cleared out, and is that the fire alarm I hear in the Cops Coliseum in Hamilton? I hope it is a false alarm.
They're trying to get the attention of those players down there in the red uniforms.
Well, we have been close to fireworks a couple of times in the playing of this gold medal game. Semak with a shot. What a blast off the glass and wide. Katerina had it knocked away. Here's the 2-on-1 for Canada. Scott Mellanby across the line. Good back-checking by Osipov as he took the puck away from him. Tremendous speed for many of these Russian players coming to the fore in the second and now in the third period. Fedotov in his own zone gets it ahead to Kamensky. Turgeyev back to Kamensky at the line. Got it to Turgeyev. He took a shot. It went wide. Back to the net, trying to dig it out for Osipov, and he was tied up by Kartner. And Canada comes back, led by Robitaille. Robitaille working back to the net, right out in front in the crease. Beloshakin held on with Mellanby looking for that loose puck. And now Mellanby and Fedotov do some pushing after the whistle.
Fedotov put the headlock on Mellanby right in the goal crease.
It's essential that they gain at least a tie in this game against the Soviet Union. A victory would assure a gold medal. If they tie, they would require a win against Czechoslovakia in the final game on Saturday. Davidov brings it out of his own zone. On the right side, ahead of the play was Kovalev.
Don, but that is some record for international hockey.
To Odeline. Odeline fires it in. Keaton bumped in the corner by Murphy, back to the point. Viveros trying to play it in and hit the referee, Olsen, and is cleared out by the Soviets. Here's Davidov to the backhand. He went after that rebound, and Billington managed to cover up.
A break for Davidov as he took that puck off the skate of the linesman and popped right out on his stick. Now watch him wait and wait and wait before he makes the play. He's considered by Central Scouting as one of the top 6 young Soviet players in the entire Soviet Union. Look at how he waits, delays, then makes a little play and gets at least a shot on goal, hoping for some sort of a rebound, etc. Billington stood up and played it well. Davidov has a lot of skills.
From the face-off, Kartner goes back of his own net. Passes to Conroy. Conroy is hit by Konstantinov, and he is hurt. Conroy is down. There's no whistle. Conroy is back at his own blue line, and finally, Olsen blows the whistle. But Conroy took a tremendous hit in the center ice area from Konstantinov.
Konstantinov was set for the body check more so than Conroy was. Now watch Konstantinov get good size, and he puts a shoulder right into young Al Conroy. I don't know if he had the wind knocked out of him there or not. It looked like a shoulder right into that chest. Nonetheless, it was,
I believe in the Soviet language, Diet is what they call it.
Diet, D-Y-E-T, I think.
Face-off, a shot right on by Moylan. It goes to the corner, now up along the boards, and the Soviets bring it out. Pass broken up by Kote, Alain Kote knocking it down at his own line. Now he brings it out for Canada. He warms up a vicious blast sailed over top of that Soviet. Now here's Haydarov breaking away on the right side. Haydarov, and some good work by Stapleton to get back to get into the play, and Stapleton is hurt as he's down back of that Canadian goal, and again a delay in that whistle being blown, and Stapleton appears to be in a lot of pain. He crashed heavily into those end boards as he made a determined effort to get back and knock the puck away from Haydarov.
He had no control when he slid into the boards, Don, and sometimes if your sticks get out ahead of you or there was other players, other objects meet the boards and come back, go right into your body, and he's in considerable pain. What an effort he made to catch the Soviet player to break up the play. Just put his head down, skated as hard as he could, and got back and made the play. Now, he was holding his upper chest around the throat. You can see the pain etched on his face underneath that visor, trying to get his wind there, obviously. Breathing in and out, trying to relax a bit. What a play he made. Watch him put his head down, turn it on, time his dive perfectly, and knock the feet out from the Soviet player, Haydarov. Look at how he swept the puck before he knocked the player down to stay away from an injury, or away from a penalty. Now watch as he heads into the boards. He goes in head first as he was on the ice. No chance of trying to control that smashing meeting with the boards. Boy, that has to be some honor for Mike Stapleton to be drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks, where his dad spent the majority of his great National League years. He's an interesting kid. He says his dad didn't push him into hockey, which was great, but his dad certainly helped him when he decided he wanted to play hockey. And that's quite a compliment for his father.
He's one of the smaller members of this Canadian team at 5 feet 10 inches, 175 pounds. He works on the family farm in the summer months.
You bet. He and his brother sort of taken over the farm from his father. You know, you have to remember, if this game ends up in a tie, which it hasn't yet, of course, they still have to play on Saturday afternoon, and they need healthy bodies to play. Look at this. Now watch as he makes the play. Watch, there's a collision of everybody. Now they're going to separate, and watch Stapleton come right through the middle of everybody, head first into the boards, and he's gone off. Boy, the glass really rebounded back, didn't it? Quite a force.
You get an indication from the way that glass was vibrating as to how hard they hit the boards.
He's not going to the dressing room. He's gone right to the bench. Dr. Rudy Gittens from Ottawa trying to help Mike Stapleton find out what the problem is. And hopefully it's just a problem with his breathing.
The time remaining, 16:42 in this third period. They do not play overtime in the World Junior Championships. Emotions have been running high from the outset of this hockey game. Selmar Odeline has it poked away. Viveros retreats into his own zone. Hits one of the officials with that lead pass. And now the Soviets try and get something going. Odeline breaks it up in the center ice area. Pass deflected ahead, too far for Neuendijk. Osipov has it. He gets it over on the right side to Torgeyev. He gets away from Korson, going to the corner. Now Korson catches up with him and takes him into the boards. Sandlak unable to clear the shot right on from Kratchuk, and it's deflected by Willington. Comes back into the neutral zone, and Nikitin takes it back into his own zone, goes rink wide to Kratchuk. Kratchuk shoots it down the ice. This will be an icing infraction against the Soviets. 15:55 is the time remaining in the and they were selling tickets outside the building about an hour before the game for as much as $100.
That'll be more. By the time the attendance figures come into the tournament, they'll double what they had in Finland last year.
The biggest crowd in Finland was for the game between Finland and Canada, with 8,000 in attendance. Loose puck in the Soviet zone. Finally, it's picked up by Davidov. He lost it. Duras was tied up. Greenlaw let a backhand go wide. Murphy in the corner tried to play it back to the point and hit the boards and did not come all the way back. Now the Soviets work along the boards. They bring it in across the line. Here's the shot, and that was deflected by Billington. On the right side for Duras. Duras over on the left side to Greenlaw. Greenlaw with the shot, and that is deflected by Bellows, shaken up into the crowd and out of play.
This is the time of the hockey game where somebody has to emerge as a leader, as a star.
Fedotov gives it into the corner to Tatharinov. Long lead pass from Konstantinov. That almost looked as though it crossed two lines. It almost appeared he was offside, but there was no whistle. Kapenko out front. Vязьmikin was tied up back to the line. A shot just wide by Tatharinov, and there's a Canadian player down once again and again. A long delay before Dag Olsen blows the whistle.
I think there, Don, he was thinking that the Soviet players had control of the puck, and he was waiting for a Canadian to touch it, but once it was out over the blue line, it was no harm for anybody, but it's Selmar Odeline down. Now, he went into the boards with the Soviet player after a loose puck, and he sort of stopped funny. Now, he's had that bad knee, and I don't know if that is this problem right now, or if that's when it happened, but he did not come out of the corner. Now, watch him stop and turn in an awkward position as they try to get to that puck. Look at his knees. Now he bangs into the boards heavily. Now I don't know if he's already hurt himself or what. He's gotten up now. He too may have winded himself when he went heavily into the boards backwards, Don. He's being helped off the ice. Appears to be all right.
Well, everyone anticipated that this would be a very physical hockey game, and indeed it has. And most people were correct in assuming as well that the Soviets would give as much as they would take.
Oh, absolutely. That was another part of the scouting report. Carl Friesen, the trainer from Saskatoon, having his hands full here in the third period.
Odeline missed 2.5 months of the season with the Regina Pass as a result of that knee injury. The puck gets in by Canada in front of the net, and Sandlak could not get his stick on it. He was tied up initially, and then when he finally touched it, it was deflected over the glass out of play.
Close checking in front of that Soviet goal. Every time the Canadians try to get a loose puck, somebody's on them immediately all the time. You know, Gump Worsley talked about the Red Army game in Montreal. He said it started at high speed, it ended at high speed. Now what Sandlak tried to get control of it before it's deflected. The defenseman stays right with him. Fedotov. This Red Army team here too, Don, they haven't slowed down at all. They're keeping that speed up, as are the Canadians.
It's offside at the Soviet line. We'll have a face-off just outside the Soviet blue line with 14:20 remaining in this third period. You were commenting this morning on the curve on the blade of many of those Soviet sticks. Do you think there is a possibility Canada might call it late in the game?
Well, in watching the Red Army play, a lot of their sticks were certainly over a half-inch. The rules here say in this tournament, nothing over a half-inch, very similar to the National Hockey League rules, but the coaching staff for the Canadian team were looking around. They especially looked at the goal stick of Bellows shaken. They feel the blade itself is too wide. You're allowed 3.5 inches, and I think that's well over 3.5 inches.
Puck along the boards in the Soviet zone. Sandlak again steps into a Soviet player and sends Semak flying. Now it's Korson breaking in on the right side. Korson taking it against the boards. The puck is loose, and Semak has it for the Soviet Union. To Nikonov, ahead to Hydarov, going in, he scores!
Big goal for the Soviet Union. There you see some emotion on the bench. Good play, deflects off, the puck deflects off somebody in that neutral zone, and in he goes on the breakaway. And Hydarov makes a good play. Now watch it come through the middle here, as Karkner can't find the puck. First of all, it goes off of Cote. In comes Hydarov. Now watch Billington. He's out, but he collapses early and goes down early. And Hydarov stayed out way above Billington and put it up over top of him. Look how far out Hydarov is here before he makes his play. He's a good 6 feet away from the goaltender Billington, who went down a little early, up over top, and he capped off a good play. And look at the emotion, the young Soviet player.
So it's 3-1, the Soviet Union leading. They have scored a goal in each period. Semak and Nikonov drawing assists on that goal by Hydarov. And again, the smoke detector, or whatever it is, has gone off here in the Cops Coliseum. It was sounding to start the period, and the fans applauded when it was finally shut off then, and they applaud again.
The fourth goal for Hydarov. Now let's see what Terry Simpson does. Is he going to go down to 3 lines? Goal scorer, and he certainly showed it on that last play as he made it look rather easy. A lucky break for him as that puck went off of Kote, and he was there and jumped on that opportunity.
Loose puck in the Soviet zone. Going into the corner after it is Mellanby. Mellanby for Robitaille. Robitaille out front. He tried to jam it at the side of the net. Gets it again. Back to the line. Over the line. Takes the shot. It goes wide. And Katarinov brings it out for the Soviets. He shovels it ahead to his defensive partner, Fedotov, and it's fired into the Canadian zone. 12:54 remaining in the third. The Soviets leading 3-1.
Now look at the Soviets here, not forechecking deep at all, backing out, trying to force the Canadians in the neutral zone. Not forechecking deep now that they have that 2-goal lead.
Well, this is the point in the hockey game where the Canadian team will have to be much more aggressive in that offensive zone, trying to force the Soviets off the puck and into making errors. Mellanby in the corner. He's bumped there. Robitaille follows up, centered it, nobody in position, and the Soviets quite content to hammer it down the ice. This will be an icing call with 12.
Well, the pressure should now be on the shoulders of Beloshakin, the Soviet goalkeeper. Lots of experience, as we had mentioned. The Canadians are going to try and pour it on now. They're trailed by 2.
Centering pass, nobody in position, and the Soviets, Konstantinov, picks it up off the boards and dumps it down the ice. Sylvain Cote back into his own zone, trying to get it out of there. He's checked at the blue line by Kravchuk, and the Canadians are forced back into their own zone. Conroy, who was slowed down with a tremendous hit earlier, is back out there for the Canadian team. Now Vязьmikin in across the line. He slips to the fence, going in! Holds on to it, he scores! Wonderful move by Vязьmikin, and now you know why he is considered one of the outstanding under 20 players in the world.
He was supposed to be the pride of the new generation of hockey players before he fell into disfavor of drinking too much, to tell the truth. Here he shows why, Don. Sensation puck, actually when he scored, he tried to put it up over top of Billington. He puts it underneath him, but that's certainly the crushing blow as far as Canada's hopes go. What a sensational play. A talented hockey player.
Number 16,
Vязьmikin, an assistant tally, making it up 4-1 hockey game. And here's another look at it.
Just watch the speed, how he turns it on. He's got talent, immense talent. Look at the feet, how he balances his way through. Now he holds on to it. He knows where he is. Now he just tries to get it up over top. Got lucky, it went underneath.
At the side of the Canadian net there, the Soviet net, they jam away, and Beloshakin comes out of the goal to fall on top of it and hold it for a face-off.
The defense right through the middle. Look at the balance and the skill level of that Russian hockey player. He gets the job done. Great individual effort. That is a lot of talent and a sensational goal.
In the game between Canada and the United States, we alluded to the fact that Canadians were concerned as to how they would play defensively, and really nothing in that game to allay the concerns of Coach Terry Simpson and Michel Parizeau.
Well, you see here, Don, the Canadians are controlling the corners here somewhat. Now, every time they've had the puck deep, they've been able to do that, but it just simply hasn't been that often that they've had the puck deep.
Loose puck! Racing in from the point, and somehow Beloshakin got a glove on him.
Well, he's to look at his other hand, he might find a ham sandwich. I don't know if that's skill or luck. And any goaltender would tell you there's a lot of luck in that save, but he got it done. Salmar Odeline probably just can't believe it. Watch the glove hand, the catching hand of the goalkeeper, Beloshakin. He's only got one chance. Wave at it, get that left hand up in the air, and he snares it out of midair. What? Unbelievable. Unbelievable how he snares it. His legs are trapped. He can't get up and across, so he just waves at it with his catching arm. What a great save. You know, if you really think about it, he had that glove up there, even if it is in desperation, and made the save. Smart play by the goalkeeper, Beloshakin.
At one point last year, he was in something of a slump. And then this year, he went 153 consecutive minutes without allowing a goal. Loose puck, and the Soviets bring it out. Racing down the left side is Davidov. Davidov tried to go around Sylvain Cote. Cote managed to get it, and He tried to play it to the other side, but it hit the side of the net. He gets it again up to Mellanby. Mellanby loses it in the center ice area to Kovalev. It's fired back into the Canadian zone, and an icing call as S.Kote touches the puck.
Well, we look at the experienced Russian players, Soviet players. Galchenyuk, another one of them. The experience has really come to tell a story here in the third period, Don. The Canadians have not had many real good scoring chances. Again, the Soviet Union keeping them to the outside. We tried to talk to the trainers today for the Soviet Union, and they said they didn't speak any English. And then once we showed them a couple of pins and a couple of pictures, we traded for some information. Not bad English at all, is it?
Not bad at all. Conroy from the faceoff tried to get a shot away. His stick was tied up. The puck comes to the line and is deflected out into the center ice area. Conroy for Kartner. Kartner looking for Murphy. The pass too far for him. Going back after it. Selyanin plays it up long for Vязьmikin. It's deflected out into the center ice area. We're approaching the midway point of the third period. The Soviets leading by a score of 4-1. Konstantinov shooting it into the corner. It goes around to the other side now to Roberts. Roberts dumps it down the ice, and going back after it is Selyanin. Selyanin plays it off the boards back into the Canadian zone. They almost got caught on that defensive change there. Now it's Murphy breaking down the right side. It's hooked away from him by Fedotov. He whips it around to the other side to Hydarov. He pokes it free to Semak. Semak fakes the shot against the line. Now feeds it out into the slot. They couldn't get the shot away. Fedotov gets it back to Tatarinov. His weak shot is knocked down in front and brought back by Stapleton, or Sandlak. Sandlak couldn't go anywhere. It's spin over to Viveros, and he fires it down into the Soviet zone. Sandlak in the corner, fighting for it, gets it loose to Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk looking for someone out front. Tried to center it. It did not get through the crease to Sandlak, and it's dumped down the ice. Billington way out of his net. He makes the save, and then at the blue line, plays it to the Soviet line. The puck is fired by Tatarinov deep into the Canadian zone. He was looking at that wide open net. It would not have counted, however, as a Soviet player. Terry Simpson's game plan, John, I thought was well conceived. He wanted his forwards to go out, go in deep, muscle the Soviet team. He felt if he was going to win this game, the forwards would do it. However, in the third period, it seems that the Soviets are the stronger team.
But you know, what happens here, Don, is their skill of moving the puck quickly. The Canadians can't get in there and do that severe checking.
Robitaille into the slot, a shot, and Beloshakin was way out of the net to make the save. Kote at the line managed to keep it in, but now it's brought out by the Soviets. Stapleton has it poked away at the line. A rake-wide pass now for Mellanby. And back is for Chuk, who takes it to the board. Stapleton digs it out for Mellanby. Back to the point. Kote with the shot right on. And that is backhanded wide by Robitaille. Robitaille trying to work out from behind the net, having difficulty there with Nikita. Nikita comes up with the puck. He plays it off the boards and down the ice. Racing back after it is Kote. He gets there just ahead of Kamensky and plays it off the boards to Kartner. Kartner looking for Murphy on the left side. It was too far for him, but he managed to chase after it into the corner. Murphy now back to the line, over the line, putting in the shot, saves, rebound! And Robitaille in the slot, unable to get good wood on it, and Beloshakin pounced on the loose puck, and again, some pushing in front of that Soviet goal.
Well, you look at that first goal in a hockey game by Team Canada, scored by Corson. Beloshakin went down on a bad angle shot. It was a bad rebound, basically a bad goal. But I'll tell you, that Beloshakin's been hot here in the third period, made some good saves, experience starting to show. Watch how he recovers. He's going to make another save, even though he goes down a lot. That's the Tretiak style, and we mentioned he was tutored by Tretiak. He's had 123 shots in the tournament. 123 saves and 131 shots, 8 goals against. That's pretty hot goaltending. Save percentage up around .935. That's great in any league.
Well, as a goaltender, perhaps you could comment on the style of Beloshakin bouncing down to his knees, much like Tretiak.
Well, Tretiak, and maybe go back and look at the National League. People like Grant Fury used to play, still plays that way. Tony Esposito. But he's playing fairly calculated goal right now, not taking many chances, dropping at the right time, playing the percentages fairly well.
The shot from the point did not get through. The Soviets dump it out to the center ice area. It seems right now, John, that the Soviets, with a 3-goal lead, quite content simply to dump it out of their own zone when Canada applies pressure.
You're right, John. They're not taking many chances at all, trying to fire the puck up the boards, not up the middle. The draft, of course, the main dream of most of these players on all the junior teams. In Canada, the National League draft last year, 59 players were drafted from the Ontario League, 43 from the Western League. Whoa, Sweden does it to West Germany. They get the shutout. Going back to the draft, 15 from the Quebec League, 20 from U.S. colleges, 48 from U.S. high schools, 30 internationally. That's down 10 from the year before, and 37 from other leagues such as Tier 2. So that's the breakdown in the 85 draft.
Well, I think every scout from a National Hockey League team is in attendance here at the Cops Coliseum for this World Junior Tournament.
Every one of them had an immense respect for the Soviet team. They knew they wouldn't fold at all.
Here's a 2-on-1 break. In across the line. And it's deflected high at the goal mouth. They jam away. Galchenyuk took that pass from Kovalev. And it deflected high, but Billington managed to keep it out. 7:07 remaining in the third period. Nikitin breaks it up at the line. Again, Kovalev coming in, letting a shot go high off the glass. It's loose behind the goal, and Viveros has it for Canada and dumps it out of the zone.
Terry Simpson has Murphy up on the line with Corson and Sandlak trying to get something going. They know Murphy's a goal scorer.
Now it's Kote playing it ahead to Conroy. Conroy, a long shot. Mello shaken out of his net to play it after making the save. Roberts bumps into the Soviet player, but it's fed over onto a left wing and brought out by Nikonov. Nikonov in across the line, falls, still controls it, flips it to the corner, and Karkner is back for Canada. 6:23 remaining in this third period. The gold medal battle. If the Soviets win, they will claim the gold. Canada is still lined up with the silver, regardless of what happens in the game on Saturday. At the line, Karkner falls, manages to poke it. And the Soviets are unable to get it out as there's going to be a penalty here. Roberts stepped into the Soviet player, Semak, and Canada will be shorthanded with 6:01 remaining in the third period. So the hopes of a first-round draft choice in 1984 by the Calgary Flames, who plays for the Ottawa 67s, is in the penalty box.
Well, the stern coaching of Vasiliev has his team in pretty good position here. We were quite surprised the way he yelled and screamed at his players in practice this morning, but they certainly responded. They say he wants to be liked by his players, but I don't think it's going to work out. It doesn't matter. His team is winning.
Very authoritative coach, disciplinarian, and he certainly was yelling and shouting and grabbing some of his players this morning when they made mistakes in the workout. The puck gloved ahead by the Soviet player, resulting in a whistle with 5:41 remaining in the third period.
It's been 18 minutes in penalties in this game. Canadians have 14 of the 18. The Soviets, the remaining 4. It's told a bit of a story. The Canadians having to spend a lot of time killing penalties.
And this is one time when they can ill afford to be killing off a penalty, trailing by 3 goals late in the third period.
The Soviets also have the one power play goal, that by Semak.
That was the go-ahead goal or the tying goal, I should say, in the first period. Now it's Odeline in his own zone. He plays it off the boards, kept in there by Fedotov. Now Osipov moving right in, backhand shot, and Billington makes the save. Stapleton comes up with the puck and lugs it out for Canada.
Billington made a good save. He stayed square to the puck that time, Don. Moved across with his body instead of lunging feet first. Made a real good save.
Last year, of course, in the battle between the Soviets and Canada in the World Junior Tournament in Turku, Finland, Billington shut out the Soviet Union by a score of 5-0. Vязьmikin back in his own zone. Plays it over to Tatharinov. He shoots it into Canadian territory against the Soviet Union.
Well, for for the Canadian players. Their dream seems to be slipping away right now. Just 4 things right now. They came here with one thing in mind, and that was a gold medal. And it's a tough time of the game right now to try and keep that concentration level there.
Carter with a blast from the face-off. Shakin had to make the save. Yes, 1985 was not a good year for Soviet hockey internationally, losing the World Junior Championship, the World Tournament. They lost the Izvestia. Lead pass over on the right side, and Nikonov tried to jam it right at the goal mouth. Billington stood his ground, and it came back to the line. Now it's dumped in and fired out with just 4 seconds remaining in the penalty to Gary Roberts. Puck is dumped in by the Soviets as Canada is back at full strength. Just 3:56 remaining in the hockey game. Conroy grabbed that loose puck and fired at the length of the ice. This will be icing. Remaining in the third, we remind you that the National and the Journal will be seen in Ontario and the rest of Eastern Canada immediately following the hockey game at its regular time, Manitoba and other Western provinces. Team Canada now trying to go to the attack, but the Soviets won't let them. They have been defending well in their own zone, and they have been dishing out some pretty good body checks themselves, while Canada administered most of the heavy blows in the first period. Now Semак in across the line, trying to get it back to the point to Nikonov. Too far for him, and Dotov has to go back into his own zone with 3 minutes remaining. Osipov ahead to Semak. They're looking for that breakaway pass as the Canadian team is pressing.
Semak is one smart player. He puts himself in the open right up in that center ice area. And they look for him.
By Sandlock in his own zone, and he's a little groggy as he heads to that Soviet bench. He took a tremendous hit along the board. Now it's Fedotov trying to get it out, kept in by Canada. Moylan back to the net. Stoppage of the game against the United States, this game against the Soviet, and will be on hand Saturday for the game against Czechoslovakia. Stapleton trying to spin around to get a shot away. It went wide. Now Mellanby is taken in against the boards by Konstantinov. They continue fighting for it, and finally the whistle blows. Nothing in the stoppage in play with 2:11 remaining in the game.
Another Soviet player down as Robitaille cross-checked him in the neck from behind. The player went down. I'm not real sure who it is. It may be Krachuk, but I'm not sure what the number was. Yeah, I think it's number 5, Don. Krachuk. You know, the Canadians' record in junior place in 77, 2 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie. Both those wins resulted in gold medals, both by shutouts. Watch Robitaille come in from behind on number 5, Krachuk. There's the cross-check. We just missed it. As he gives it to him. Now Sandlak, boy, does he hit Osipov. Boy, does he nail him. Osipov, he saw stars after he got thumped there. He got up and he had spaghetti legs on one big body check. But the Soviets are in control. Look at Osipov there. You can see where his legs simply went out from underneath him as he was seeing stars for sure.
However, he's going to be seeing gold in about 2 minutes and 8 seconds because the Soviet Union is in total control of this hockey game, leading by a 4-1 margin. Now Laxdal cutting in on the right side, unable to carry through, and the puck is brought out into the center ice area by Galchenyuk. He winds up, toe save, the rebound, and Kovalev was unable to get a shot away. 1:43 remaining. Lead pass, too far for Laxdal. Parker races deep into the corner, centered it, but Galchenyuk was there to pick it up. Galchenyuk for the Soviets at the blue line, lets a blast go. Puck was up on edge and it hit the glass behind goaltender Craig Billington. 1:24 remaining. The puck cleared out into the center ice area. Tatarinov is back for the Soviet Union. Very skilled Soviet defender, and he let a blast go that went high over the glass and up into the
we talked about many times tonight the experience of Beloshakin. He played for the Soviet Union in the Izvestia tournament just before Christmas. Canada was represented by the Olympic team, coached by Dave King. And this man is just a youngster, 20 years old, played and represented his country in that tournament. They lost to Czechoslovakia in the final game, but for that gold medal. But still, the experience is really shown for that Soviet goalkeeper here in the third period.
Well, the Soviet Union is certainly getting 1986 off to a good start in international hockey with this gold medal win. The puck knocked down by Bieberov, way out of the net to make the save is Beloshakin, and he pokes it away again. Here's a 3-0 break for the Soviets. Vязьmikin hit the goal post. With 52 seconds remaining. The Canadian team, all 5 skaters deep in that Soviet zone, and now there's some shoving going on as Billington felt that he was high stick there by Turgeyev.
Turgeyev was in behind him. Billington skated out of the goal crease and controlled the puck. And I think the emotions here are getting to the Canadians. There wasn't a bad play. It was a little bump, nothing serious whatsoever. It's frustration and it's showing with the youth of junior players, and it's going to show, but there was nothing serious whatsoever.
Well, I believe Vasiliev was quoted as saying that he thought his team could take advantage of the very high emotional level of play of the Canadian team.
Well, maybe that's why they were taking so many dives, because that even upset the fans here in attendance. United States with a big win over Switzerland in Niagara Falls.
11-3, the final score in that game for the U.S. Again, we remind all CBC viewers in Ontario and Eastern Canada that the National and the Journal will immediately follow the game. The National and the Journal will be seen at the regular time, Manitoba West. 42 seconds remaining. The Soviets en route to their 6th straight victory. And across the line comes Murphy. Murphy trying to get it across. He was looking in front of the net for Stapleton, and Prachuk fell in front of it, blocking the pass. He did not get through. 25 seconds remaining in the game. The only 2 times Canada has won the gold, they have shut out the Soviet Union in round-robin play. This year, the Soviets will win the gold by defeating Canada. It looks as though it will be a final score of 4-1, although Robitaille is still digging for that puck, trying to center it, but now it's dumped down the ice, and that will do it. The Soviets have won the gold medal. And that man, goaltender Beloshakin, certainly deserves a lot of credit. In the first period, he made some excellent moves, had some great saves. He continued throughout the game as the Canadian team attempted to apply pressure.
That's 7 gold medals in 10 years of his junior tournament for the Soviet Union, and their skills certainly shown here. A very well played, well executed game for the Soviet Union.
No disgrace for the Canadian team, however. They played a very strong hockey game, and the Canadian team, winners of the gold last year, will have to settle for the silver